Hello, it's Natalie from Baggage Reclaim, where I help people to live and love with self-esteem. It's Advice Wednesday, which means it's time for me to help somebody figure out their situation. Today's question comes from Pretty, who wants to know, what do you do when you've moved on, but your charming ex is sniffing around? She says, I met a guy before marriage. He wanted to get physically involved with me, but he said he does not want to marry me and that he wants to be my best friend. We had some romantic moments before marriage, no sex, and then I got married to a wonderful person by heart, and then a year later I came to know that he has also gotten married. I have been observing no contact since then, but he has pinged me a few days back, and I know that he wants to play with my mind and my heart, and I want to be completely rid of him. What should I do? If I read into the subtext of this situation, what I'm picking up is that this guy has come along and he's like, I basically want to jag you, but I don't want to marry you. So, which would infer to me that on some level, that for her, she wasn't going to get involved in that way with somebody who wasn't serious about her. And that's absolutely fine. So he's then gone, oh, but I want to be your best friend, and I really, really like you, and blah, 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 blah. And then she's let that go. They were romantically involved for a bit, but it didn't progress. And then she's gone off and gotten married to somebody else. And then she's heard that he's married. And I think that somewhere in the back of her mind, she's going, oh, he said he wasn't interested in marriage, and now he's married to somebody else. And so there's that curiosity, that sort of why her and not me. And yet what she's not recognizing is, well, hold on a second, she's moved on to what she says is a wonderful guy. But also, if everything is so great and he's married now and, that's supposed to be so brilliant, why is he sniffing around her, and why does she even care? The only thing that really she needs to do here is to make the message clear that she's not available. Silence often says everything that you need to, because sometimes I think that you can kind of pander to a situation, and so a person like that reaches out, and next thing you know, you're texting, and then, or, I don't know, maybe having a conversation or whatever else, and you're bouncing back and forth, and that person is thinking, yeah, he or she still wants me. I've still got it. They're not committed, fully committed, emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually to their current partner. So they get that kind of ego stroke. And the question she needs to ask herself is like, why would she give that to him? And she does say that she wants to be completely rid of him. And actually, the thing that she doesn't need to do anything. She doesn't need to necessarily respond to what he has said. And she doesn't need to be open to him playing with her mind and her heart. And that opening is created even before any conversation, because if she becomes open to that by, in her mind, sort of questioning, well, why is he married, or why is he getting in touch? Who cares? You're married. Now, when I say that, I'm not one of these people who's like, oh my gosh, like, you're married, like you can never speak to an ex again, or you can never speak to like someone of the opposite sex, or or same sex, who's romantically interested, or who used to be romantically interested. There's no need for that. But it's all about clear boundaries, because a friendship is a mutual relationship between friends. And I do find that in a lot of these situations where somebody's like, oh, I really like you, and I really fancy you, and I really want to sleep with you, but I don't want to marry you, I don't want to be in a relationship, but we can be best friends. That's not friendship. That's just a way of making a crappy situation seem more palatable. It's a way of being charming, like, oh wow, like I have the top seat, this person's crazy about me and they want me to be their best friend. This guy doesn't mean her any good. And I think that it's one thing when an ex gets in touch and it's like, wow, it's so great to see that you're happy and you've moved on, and congratulations on getting married, and I'd love to meet your husband or your wife, or whoever it is, and let's hang out and you can meet my... But when you're just basically slinking around and trying to play games, that's just messed up. And you can't be open to that when you're already in a relationship, because then you're creating an opening for a disruptive party. And you don't want something that basically it potentially has the potential to disrupt your emotional well-being and your mental well-being and how available you can be to a partner. But you also don't want something that's basically disrespectful to your marriage or somebody's trying to be disruptive to that, because all that guy wants to do is play games, and she acknowledges that he wants to play with her mind and her heart, but she doesn't have to give it to him to play with. She doesn't have to give it to him from afar. She doesn't have to give it to him close up. She can leave this alone. She can step away from it. And that's what she really needs to do. Is if him reaching out has caused her to maybe think about, oh, well, hold on a second, like he said he didn't want to get married and now he's married, use it as an opportunity to have an honest conversation with herself where she can say, wow, you know, those feelings have come up, but I don't want him. It's just some natural feelings of, ooh, like, why her and not me? But I realize I don't want him. I'm committed to my husband. And it's remembering those commitments and not getting distracted by this person's games. When an ex gets in touch and you know that they don't mean any good, don't bother to respond.